Okay, today I'm going to show you guys one of the other keychains that I make. Right here is the Bee Landing nylon. This is the 1.5 mn. I will link everything in the description below of everything I'm using. I don't really measure this out. I just get about what I think is what I need. I have some clips right here that I'm going to use for the keychains. You can use different ones, and I'm going to show you guys some different ones that you can use. You can add keychains to these little silver guys right here. This one's a little bit bigger, but then I also do have a smaller one that you can also use and put the nylon on here. These are a lot of fun to make. I definitely have different tools that I use. Again, I will have everything linked down below in the description. So you can see that I'm taking this and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to grab my keychain over here and I'm going to loop it through the bottom of my keychain right here. This right here is a tool that's called a loop turner. I absolutely love this thing. It helps me get my beads loaded onto this nylon string. It only works with silicone beads though, unfortunately, but it's an amazing tool. So what I'm going to do is, you can see, I'm going to loop it through and pull my ends through, and that's exactly how I'm going to get this to go onto my keychain. And from here, I'm going to add on my beads. Okay, so I'm going to actually start with making these ends a little bit harder to get, so that we can get the bead through it a little bit softer. So I'm just using my lighter right here that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to get my ends all put together like this. As you see, I'm just going to smash them down so that I can get them easily inside the bead. Okay, with these beads, I do have to twist my string and push it through and just kind of work it through. So I'm actually going to twist the string and twist the bead all at the same time. That's going to help me get the string through the whole of the bead, because sometimes it's just a little bit tougher to be able to get it through these beads. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so now you can see it poking up, and I'm just going to pull it through, and because I did put those ends and smash them together like that, that's how I'm able to get it through the bead. Then I'm going to go ahead and continue down the line with this keychain, just grabbing out my beads and seeing exactly which ones I want. These ones, the holes are a little bit bigger, so they're easier to get onto my string. Again, this is that nylon string. Then what I'm going to end up doing is trying to decide if I want to do that or my focal bead. My focal beads are silicone, so I can use my loop turner. And I'm just going to place my loop turner through my focal bead, and then I'm going to grab onto the string. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this focal bead right at the end and then pull it through the string. Now onto my string, I'm going to go ahead and pull it, make sure everything looks good. It's nice and tight and straight on my keychain, and I'm going to continue with the next beads onto the string. Now my string has come apart, so they're not both together at this moment, but again, they fit really good through these sparkly beads right here, so I'm able to get them both to come through here. But when I go to do the next bead, it's going to be just like the first one, and I'm going to need to work it through the bead just a little bit more, because it's not going to actually fit on correctly the way that I need it to if I don't twist it on like I was doing before. So I am deciding that I'm just going to go ahead and pinch those ends back together the best that I can for just a minute, so that I can try and get it to go through the bead. It's going to work the best if you can get your ends to actually connect together a little bit better. This way to get it through your beads if the hole through your acrylic beads are too small. And you're just going to go ahead and twist your string and then twist it into the bead. Twisted into your bead, you're going to start to see it come through the bottom like this, and you're going to go ahead and just grab both of the ends of the string, and you're going to pull on it and make sure that it's straight on your string, just like this. Okay, so here I'm just going to go ahead and do just a regular knot. So I'm just going to tie it like you would like a shoestring, but you want to make sure that it's super tight. So I do grab my pliers. If this time, and I'm gonna pull on both sides with my pliers because that makes sure that it's super tight. You wanna make sure that this isn't gonna come apart. So tight, tight, tight. Then I'm gonna go ahead and make sure everything is straight one last time before I go ahead and lock this in. I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing, and I'm gonna make sure it's tight because now we've got our knot in there. And if you do this correctly, your knot shouldn't be coming out at all. So now that I've got it super tight, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wrap it around my fingers and I'm gonna do one last knot so that I make sure that this is going to stay. What I do every time, I'm going to use my pliers to go ahead and grab that string through and making sure that I got both ends to this knot, and I'm going to pull on it, and then I'm going to use my tweezers, not my tweezers, sorry, my pliers, to make sure that it's super strong and really tight because again, we do not want these coming apart on our customers. So we want to make sure that they are tight. If you're doing them for yourself, still make them tight, make sure it doesn't break. But if it's for yourself, I mean, you probably wouldn't have to do it as in depth as I'm going to be doing here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those ends down, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my lighter again, and I'm going to light those ends so that they are nice and not going to fray or anything at the end of them. Then after I do this, I'm going to make sure everything is super straight again and make sure everything looks good on my keychain. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a paper towel after I move everything out of my way, and I'm going to add the glue to the end where my knots are. Okay, so now that I've got this is the glue that I found at Hobby Lobby. I really do like it, but there's some off of Amazon that I also like. So I will link everything in the description. There is one link that I use through Amazon that's got all of my beading supplies that you can just click on that link and find everything that I use. But I'm just going to go ahead and cover this knot in the little crooks and crannies here, and I'm going to make sure that I get it really glued down because again, we do not want this coming apart. So I want to make sure that all of my customers have a really cute keychain, but nothing comes apart on it. Okay, so the next piece is going to be my metal that I'm going to go ahead and grab, and I'm going to use my 3-in-1 tool, and I'm going to loop it at the bottom here. This is going to be used to go on the side of the keychain. So right here, I'm just going to put other beads, and you can decorate it however you want. But you want to make sure that your little loop right here is closed. So that's why I'm going to use some pliers right here and close that little loop, making sure. And then I'm going to hold it with my pliers. And you're just going to load up your beads onto this wire right here. This is 20 mm wire that I got off of Amazon. You can also find it at Hobby Lobby. Again, everything linked in the description. So I'm just going to load this up, make it super pretty. And then I'm going to use that loop turner again just to go ahead and close this up. Here is my 3-in-1 tool, sorry, not loop turner, 3-in-1 tool that makes that loop. I'm going to close up that loop, and then the next thing we're going to be grabbing is some chain, and I'm going to use just a piece of chain to connect this to my keychain. This one turns out so freaking cute. So this chain right here is just going to be some jewelry chain, and I cut it, or you can even open it with your pliers, and you can open it and then take it off of the chain, or you can cut it off. I cut it off, and then here I'm going to open it, place it on that loop, close it back up with my pliers. And then once I close it back up with my pliers, I need to go ahead and find a jump ring for the other end of our chain right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the other end, because this is going to be the end that we're going to connect it to the keychain. These are my thick jump rings that I use on all of my keychains because I want to make sure that these jump rings do not pop and come off. The thinner the jump ring, the easier it is for somebody, if they catch it, to just open that jump ring, and then they're going to start missing pieces to their keychain. and I don't like that. I want people to be able to use these keychains and not have to worry about losing any of their pieces. So I always use these thicker ones. So just make sure that if you do this, the thicker ones are much better, I'm telling you. I'm going to use my pliers. Go ahead and close this up. On this side, you want to make sure that this jump ring is completely closed. There is no holes, nothing. There's nothing there. And you just want to make sure that it is locked in place. And then you're going to see me look at it. I think it's super cute. Now you could leave it just like this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another side. And I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with the first one. I'm going to grab my wire. You can see it right here. I'm going to use my wire cutters and I'm going to cut this wire. This is what I'm going to use on either side of my keychain every time I'm doing it. This is the wire that I use. I grab it with my pliers so that I can straighten it out. I always like to make sure that my wire is straight because it's not always straight. If I don't do it with my pliers, then I do it with my loop tool right here, and you can see me straightening it out. I'm going to go ahead and load up on here with my beads and do the exact same thing as we did on the other side. This is where you can see me grab my chain. You can see it looped up there, and I'm going to cut it with my wire cutters. This is where I was saying you could cut it, or you could just open it up with your pliers. Either way, you can see I'm not cutting very much. You don't need a lot of chain, just enough to make it dangle. You don't want it to dangle past the end of your keychain or too long, so just making sure you get just a little bit of chain right here. We're going to pop that open with our pliers like we do, connect it to that loop, and then close this up again and again. After this, we're going to go ahead and grab that jump ring, connect it to the other side so we can then connect it to our keychain. This actually ends up being one of my favorite keychains. I do have an event that is coming up, and so this is going to be where I'm going to be selling it. Now, if you guys are wondering what my prices are on my keychains, this keychain I have selling for $13. Now, keep in mind, in my Etsy shop, I do have it priced higher, but then I have a sale going on. So it's going to be even cheaper than $13 in my Etsy shop right now, but that's because I'm trying to get some traffic coming through into my Etsy. I've gotten some orders this week and I've got a ton of traffic coming through, but I really want to start seeing some orders. And sometimes when you want those orders to come through on Etsy, you got to do what you got to do, but just make sure you're not losing out on your money. At least make a little bit of a profit. And so that's kind of what I'm doing when I'm running that sale and trying to get things going. So this keychain is now completed and super cute. I'm going to end up taking pictures to place it on my Etsy shop, and I'm also going to do a video. If you have an Etsy, please make sure you're doing this, but look how freaking cute this keychain turned out. These right here are cards that I made in Canva. They do have my company name on it, so the Sweet Serenity Co. And then I just go ahead and use a hole punch to connect the keychain. That QR code is going to get them to go to my Etsy shop. So if they would like to order any more from me, all they got to do is go ahead and select that QR code and they're in my Etsy shop and can order from me. I am then going to find a bag. I have these pretty holographic bags that I really love them to be in. This just gives it a little extra prettiness. It makes it look a little more unique, and I just like them. So I got them. These were on my Amazon shop. So this is how you make these kind of keychains, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't done so, subscribe.